How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm at Yoga Rev. Yes. Yoga Revolution.
Yes, that's why we're doing awesome.
To vibrate higher. Yeah. We wanted to create some videos for you guys on a lot of topics. But this first topic we're going to tackle in a series is why a lot of people don't make it on their mats. Why people, whether you're new or you've been practicing yoga for a while, what keeps you from coming to a studio and practicing yoga. And one of the things that Bree and I kind of brainstormed is some people, especially people who are new to yoga, like, can I make it through an entire class?
And didn't you just hear that question from a yogi a couple of weeks ago?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. He came to his first 90-minute class and he was like, I don't know if I can do 90 minutes. And I'm like, you can do it because 30 minutes of it could be laying down on your mat, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because yoga is all about listening to your body. So at any point, if you need to rest, you just rest, right? And we usually talk about that even at the very beginning of a class. But if the entire class ends up just being you laying on your mat, that's still yoga. You still showed up, you got yourself here, you got on your mat, you did what you were able to do on that day, what you were ready for. And maybe that's what you needed.
Yeah. And whether you're new, again, or you've been practicing yoga for years, your body changes, your mindset changes, your emotions change. So a lot of times when I go to get on my mat, I'm like, I don't know if I'm feeling it today, but I'm here, I'm on my mat, I'm providing myself some self-care, some self-love. And if that looks like me laying down for 20 minutes, that's me. That's my yoga practice. Or not doing every chaturanga.
Right. Yeah. Maybe you skip parts. Maybe you do some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there yoga police at Yoga Rev?
No.
No. Are there yogis? Yes. Which is one other thing, just really quickly like to throw in. A lot of people will tend to not come to a yoga class, not just because they don't know if they can make it through an entire class. And we say, yeah, you can, because you get to be you and do what you need to do. But some people think, well, I'm not a yogi. But our philosophy is if you roll your mat out,
You're a yogi.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The
You're a
second
yogi.
your mat is out, you're a yogi. Yeah.
Well, we like to showcase a different teacher every time. And so for this episode, if you want to even call it that, I don't know what it is, Jackie Foreman, a teacher here at Yoga Rev. In fact, she's teaching right now.
You can hear her.
We hear her beautiful breath. Yeah, she's great. She's going to talk to you about her experience with yoga and getting on her mat and why you should come to a studio and do some yoga. Yeah. Anything else to add, Bree?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's good. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Hi, Jackie.
Hi, how are you?
Jackie teaches yoga. She's a yoga teacher. We asked her here today because Bree and I have been discussing about why people don't come to a studio to practice yoga, what keeps them from walking in the door and getting on their mats, and we want to pick your brain. What do you think?
Well, I think it's really easy to get complacent in life. I think it's really easy to look at yoga maybe even as a little bit of a luxury. You know, it's an extra thing on the side. I think that the more people do yoga, especially as a beginner, I think it's harder if you're a beginner to really get dedicated to yoga, because I think there's a window that you have to push through when you're starting your practice, where that euphoric, connected, present, amazingly magical moment sometimes doesn't happen right away. It takes time to cultivate that and to get the body open and ready for that to happen. And I think once that happens, it's hard to stay off the yoga mat after that. So I think that it's just, gosh, how do you get a new person to just, I don't know, let's keep reminding them how amazing it is, how amazing you're gonna feel. Some of the things that maybe have been aching at you for many years to give up in your life, or make better healthy choices, yoga can really be the key to help unlock that and bring that into your life. And it's going to take time. It's not something that like you go to your first class and boom, all of a sudden, I'm a whole new person. It takes dedication, but it's so worth it, because in my personal experience, yoga just, it keeps giving back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you give yourself the time and you put in the time and it gives back. And sometimes those moments of awakening come off the mat when you're not even in a class. So.
I love that. Yeah, we talk about yoga on and off your mat. You said it may not come the first time, but I know that the first time I stepped on my mat, well, I should say the second time, because the first time was like, whatever. The second time I returned to my mat, I should say, I had a little taste of that. It was a spoonful enough, and it was just enough where I was like, wait, what's this?
Yeah.
So that you're right, and we're all different. For some of us it might be 6 months, some of us might be 6 days, but you'll get that place where you're like, yeah, this is now part of my being, like what I do.
Totally. Well, I want to say one more thing too. I know for me, what kept me for many years from coming and doing yoga in a class setting, which helps keep me motivated to keep doing it regularly, was being self-conscious also about my body.
Mm-hmm.
And being self-conscious about other people looking at my body or being in yoga clothes in front of other people. And one thing that I've learned is that it's such a non-judgmental environment where, you know, first of all, like every teacher, you know, you really look at the body more like even a medical doctor would after
The
you become
anatomy.
a yoga. Yeah,
Like this is what your hips do.
This is the anatomy of the
This is what
body.
your shoulders do.
We're not checking out, you know,
No.
your toes, or, you know, we're not looking
Right.
at things like that. You know, and everybody else in the class has the same subconscious feelings and insecurities too, so that's one thing.
I'm glad you brought that up because I get told inadvertently, and sometimes to my face, that I fit a yoga stereotype of being the skinny white girl. Even though psychologically I do not see that, but that's the stereotype that I unfortunately portray. But, and no offense, but you would fit that stereotype as well.
Right.
Two thin white women talking about getting on our mats. Why listen to us? Well, why you would listen to us is, sure, if you break down the idea of that's what we look on the outside, but you're not really in our heads and understand what we're thinking as well, being highly self-conscious, worried about what others think of us. Now, I used to think about what you said, and now I have to add a layer, because now I'm like, oh, well, now people are judging me because I'm a skinny white girl. Whatever. Okay, so now I have to carry that baggage too. Yoga Barbie.
For me, like I don't know, like I don't think about that. Like for me, what yoga has done for me is, especially being an instructor now, I look at my own body more from, you know, from an anatomy perspective. I don't judge myself as harshly as I used to, because I don't. I don't look at my own body the same.
Yeah.
I've seen changes happen in my body that were, my body is responding to the healthy energy that I'm giving it. And so it's
Can you give the
giving me
viewers
back.
an example of what shift or what change? Do you have a specific example so they can kind of wrap their minds around that?
Well, I'll get really personal. I don't mind sharing it.
Sure.
I mean, I had a 20-year eating disorder, over 20 years.
Same.
So I had a lot of body insecurities and issues.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what really changed for me is that I started to actually have compassion and concern for my body.
Mm-hmm.
I started to have gratitude for how much amazing things it does for me every single day, and I don't even have to consciously ask it to do it, it just does. And the more that I do yoga, especially when I'm being very mindful with it, I'm unlocking these pieces that, through all of that 20 years of confusion and everything that happened that caused that in my life, all these little bits and pieces I feel are being kind of released, but in little increments to where I can handle it. You know, I'm not getting like this big old tidal wave of crap coming at me. You know,
Right.
it's just little nuggets here and there. So what's nice is that, do I still have insecurities about my body? Yes. Do I still have days where I put on everything in my closet, and all of it I just feel horrible in, and I don't even want to go out of the house because I just can't even tolerate, yes, I do. But does yoga make it easier? Yes, it does. And I know that it's in my head, whereas before I didn't know that. Now I can be like, okay, whatever, just put something on, get out the flipping door, because the world is waiting for you to go live your life and not be stuck in here in your head, in your pile of garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yoga brings healing. It really does. Whatever you're dealing with, it doesn't matter what it is. It really doesn't. Physical, emotional, spiritual, all of the above, all combined. Yoga can help. It can bring healing. And what's amazing is it's giving you the tools and the strength to do it yourself. It's not putting you, again, in a place of vulnerability where you're having somebody else do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. But you have to show up.
Yeah.
That is beautifully put. You have to get on your mat, even if it's just getting on the mat.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sometimes it's all that you need is just to get there.
Yeah.
And then start breathing, and then your body will kind of tell you what you want to do. Because you don't have to even follow some routine, You can just get on your mat and start listening to what your body wants. And that's what's cool about Yoga Rev is every single class that you come here and take, you might be being instructed to do certain things, but you have the freedom. This is your practice. That, or if there's things that work better for you and you know that, or don't work for you and you know that, we don't judge here.
Nope, we do not.
You do yoga your way.
You do you.
You do you.
You do you, and then you can vibrate higher.
Right?
Yes.
Totally.
Thank you, Jackie.
Peace. Yes.
Have a great class.